bitch, get out my face.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Thug Life Gaming. I'm your man Matt Rogers, aka Born Legit. Now, you guys have been commenting on the YouTube videos, emailing me, messaging me, everything, telling me to make a Call of Duty Advanced Warfare best loadout video. So guess what? You finna get it. Alright, so I'm gonna take you through each section of the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare loadout, and I'm gonna explain to you a little bit of information on what I think are your best selections for those options. But let me be clear, okay, because I'm not saying that this is the best loadout suited for every Call of Duty player. I'm simply just telling you guys the best loadout suited for my style of gameplay that I want to share with you all in order to perhaps benefit your gameplay. So what do you say we get things started? So as you guys can see, we're starting off with a blank loadout so that you can see what all I'm choosing one by one. The first thing, of course, we're going to pick is the primary weapon. Now, of all the different types of weapons that you have to pick from, I think the most important one to choose is the assault rifle because it's the most durable. You can get close range kills, medium and long range, so it benefits you the most. Now, if you've watched any of my live streams or my gameplay, you know that of all the assault rifles that I have to pick from, I always play with the AK-12. And here's why. First thing I want to point out is the damage rating is actually 10, which is higher than every other automatic assault rifle. Now, of course, the IMR and the MK14 have higher damage ratings, but they're not automatic. And I think that's very important to have, especially for one-on-one gunfights. The other thing I want to point out is a lot of people like choosing submachine guns because they enjoy the mobility of them. People take to the idea of being quicker and faster than your opponent. So with that being said, look at the mobility rating of the AK-12. It's a 12 and it's actually higher than every other assault rifle in the class. So I think that's very important, and those are just two of the reasons why I choose this weapon. Now, the other thing that you guys are wondering are what attachments do I put on my gun? The first attachment that I think is the most important is the silencer. Simply put, the more you stay off your enemy opponent's minimap, the better chance of survival you have. Now, before we put our second attachment on our weapon, the first thing you're going to want to do is come down here and use your first wild card to put an additional attachment on your gun. Now, the reason why you're doing that is because this is your main source of kills, so you're going to want to sugarcoat it as much as possible. Now, the second attachment we're going to put on is the stock, and the third attachment is going to be the QuickDraw Grip, and that's for mobility reasons. The stock is going to allow you to have quicker and faster vertical and lateral movement, such as strafing, while you're aiming down your sights at your opponent. The QuickDraw Grip, again, is going to give you another one-up on your opponent for when he comes around the corner and you need to aim down your sights and kill him as quick as possible. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now.
Strikes inbound. Warbird key close sequence activated. Warbird assistance.
Now for your secondary weapon, of course you have the pistols, launchers, and of course you have your crossbow. But of all of these options, the thing I want you to pick is absolutely nothing. And here's why. First of all, it's a complete waste of one of the points towards your Pick 13 loadout system. And that's because basically any of the weapons that you pick up off of fallen enemies or your allied teammates during a multiplayer match are going to be better than any of the options for your secondary weapon that you have to pick from in the loadout. So all you have to do is during a multiplayer match, if the option becomes available to pick up a secondary weapon, just go ahead and do so just in case you run out of ammo with your primary.
Standing by. Friendly Warbird in the air. Falcon care package forward. Vulcan on standby. Friendly missiles strikes inbound. Warbird decode sequence activated. Warbird assistance requested.
So obviously next up we're going to be choosing the perks that I want you guys to use in multiplayer, and we're going to do this simply by prioritizing. So if we come into perk number 1 here, okay, some of these might seem useful, but by far the most useful one is low profile. And that's for those reasons that I mentioned earlier. Your key to survival is staying off the enemy opponent's radar. Now next up at perk number 2, this is where I start differing from the crowd a little bit and where my loadout is different from most. So if we go in here, there's 2 perks that some of you might think are useful, but I don't think are whatsoever. The first of which is Blind Eye. Okay, it makes you undetectable by enemy aircraft, and that's great and all, but the game announces when there's enemy aircraft in the air. So when that happens, I run inside anyways because I don't want to risk being killed. So that's why I don't think it's very useful. The next up is Cold-Blooded. Now again, your name doesn't appear above your head when enemy opponents are aiming at you, and that's great. But when you really think about it, the names of your teammates appear above their heads as well. So essentially, if you see someone during a match that doesn't have a name above their head, they have to be an enemy because the names of your teammates appear above theirs. So when you really think about it, it doesn't do all that much. But the reason why my loadout is different from most people is I'm not going to select a perk 2. Instead, I'm going to use that additional point to come down here and grab another wild card that's going to be an additional perk 3. Now the first one in this slot that you're going to pick, again, is using common sense, is prioritizing. And that's going to be the blast suppressor for those same reasons of staying off the mini-map. Now for the second one in here, this is where I'm going to give you guys a little bit of leeway on what you prefer, because there's 2 of them in here that I think are great. The first of which is toughness. You're flinching less while you're being shot, so that's going to help in your one-on-one gunfights. But the one that I think is actually more useful is hardline. Now, of course, I know a lot of you hate hardline, you think it's cheap and yada yada yada. But the fact is, you're going to be unlocking your score streaks earlier in the match, and that's essentially going to cause that chain reaction of kill streaks, which is racking you up kills, which is boosting your KD by the end. Now when I say equipment, I'm referring to your exo equipment, such as your exo ability or your exo launcher. Now if we take a look at the abilities here, okay, there's some of them in here that you might think are a little useful from time to time. Me, myself, I love using the exo shield because I have some tricks for one-on-one combat with using it. But if you want to have the most effective loadout possible, I'm actually not going to choose an exo ability. Instead, I'm going to save that point and put it towards an exo launcher. Now yes, getting kills with the frag grenade or the Semtex, or hell, you even saw during the intro to this video, the spike drone, all 3 of those, it's a lot of fun getting kills with them. But for the most effective loadout, I'm going to choose the tracking drone. And that's because, like if you saw in my previous tips video, they came out with an update to where your tracking drone actually identifies the enemy target on your minimap and tracks his motion, showing you what direction he's in. So if you're trying to locate an enemy, or if you're nervous that he's looking at you, you can actually use that in order to stay alive.
UAV in wait. Friendly UAV above. Strike ready for launch. We've taken the lead. We've lost the lead. UAV ready. Enemy care package incoming. UAV in waiting. Ready for action.
Now the last thing we have to talk about is going to be your score streaks. Now the first thing you want to focus on is you want to make sure that all three of them are relatively close together in value so that they're unlocking each other and they're actually causing that chain reaction that's going to pick you up a lot of kills as quick as possible. So our first score streak that we're going to focus on here that I think is the most underrated one in the whole game is going to be your UAV. And that's because it really benefits you not only as an individual, but it benefits your team a lot. So I think that's very important. Now the second one you're going to want to pick, it's a nice mid-level score streak and it's going to be your missile strike. And that's for the simple fact that, you know, very rarely do I not pick up a kill when I use this form of score streak. Actually, multiple times I actually pick up 2, 3, maybe even 4 kills. I've actually witnessed somebody getting 5 kills with just 1 missile strike. So there's a lot of potential there. Now for your third score streak, it needs to be something that, you know, is a little bit higher, but not so high that you're not necessarily going to get it in a lot of your matches. So I like to focus on things that are around the 700 score value. The first of which I'm going to give you guys a little bit of leeway with. Okay, you can pick the bombing run because it actually covers a vast amount of your map, allowing you to pick up multiple kills with relative ease. Or my own personal favorite is the Vulcan. Now it is worth 600 points, but you can upgrade it to put an extra burst on it. That adds a value to it of 750. Now at this point you have 2 strikes that you can use with it. And with you know, being able to pick up 1 or 2, maybe even 3 kills per burst, a lot of times I'm picking up on an average about 3 kills using this Vulcan. Plus, with this being a relatively quick to use score streak, it's not giving the enemy opponents a lot of time in order to run inside a building or to find cover as they might would if you were using a bombing run. So with that being said, it picks me up a lot of kills.
Friendly XS-1 Vulcan inbound. Friendly bombing run clearing the way. Friendly bombing run incoming. Nice work, Sentinel.
Alright guys, if you liked the video and you want to see more from Thug Life Gaming, then comment below, go click the thumbs up button, go share the video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed to Thug Life Gaming already, alright guys, well let's get into this week's comment spotlight. This week's comment spotlight goes to Crazy Panda, who left a comment talking about how she loved how the video increased her kill-death ratio by the end of her matches, and she really appreciates me making tip videos for video games. So thank you, Crazy Panda, I love hearing stuff like that. But now let's get into the shout out of the week for those of you that are helping to promote Thug Life Gaming and just get the word out in general. This week's winner goes to Little Miss TLG. That is the name of her Twitch channel, and she actually has been a member and a fan of Thug Life Gaming for a long time now. She made a Twitch channel which is really freaking entertaining, and she's constantly promoting TLG. So thank you for always getting the word out, and thanks for just being a consistent supporter and being behind me this whole journey. But now let's find out who got the Thug of the Week. How you get the Thug of the Week is you fill out the form on the contact page of thuglifegaming.com, letting me know what makes you a thug. This week's winner goes to one of the most motivating individuals I've ever met in my life. Her name is Jules. Now, you can see her Twitch and her Instagram name in the corner of the screen, but long story short, guys, this very strong woman has been diagnosed with stage 4 pulmonary hypertension. Now, if any of you know what that is, it's a very hard disorder to overcome, and regardless of that, she wakes up and lives every day to the fullest. She's continuously positive on her Twitch live streams and when she's just talking with people, and she's extremely strong. It's something that's very inspirational to me, and I just wanted to share that with you guys because a lot of us tend to take every day for granted, and I think this is a perfect example of that. Jules, you have me and the whole entire Thug Life Gaming community behind you. Thank you for sharing your story with me, and you definitely are a thug. Alright guys, but that's it for this week's video. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to check out thuglifegaming.com and click on the tournaments page to see some details on the upcoming tournament that we've got going on in February. Again, thank you for tuning in. I'll see everybody next week. Keep living that life, okay? Because that's what thugs do, baby. Take it easy, guys.
Make a clap.